Hey everyone, it's Coach Christine and welcome to this week's edition of Christine's Kitchen. Can you believe we are already here at Memorial Day? Oh my gosh, the year is just flying by. We are going to be celebrating this weekend, the beginning of summer, with a healthy, festive Memorial Day inspired dessert. Today on our menu, we are making fruit tarts. These are going to have a puff pastry crust, a custard filling, and topped with fresh berries. Now this is going to be perfect for all of your socially distanced barbecues. Plus it's light and airy enough to make it feel like a delicious summer dessert. Most importantly, if you make them in portion sizes like I'm going to show you, each individual little tart comes in at literally 75 calories. So mind blown, I know. This is going to be amazing. Plus, you can eat it guilt-free, and in individual portions, it's easy to share at a distance. All right, you guys, stick with me, and I will teach you how to do this step by step. The first step that we need to do is prepare our puff pastry sheet. So I took mine out of the freezer. You want to let it sit overnight in the refrigerator to thaw. This is a really big tip. Do not let it sit overnight or on the counter at room temperature. The pastry gets way too sticky. So just let it sit in the refrigerator overnight. You take the package out, open it up. This is what it will look like. Now I'm going to take the rolling pin and just gently roll this out, not because I'm trying to make more, but it's just going to be easier to work with. So you'll just roll it very carefully just to smooth out the surfaces. And then you're going to come over and take a round cookie cutter and cut it into your individual portions. So just take your little circle and set them aside. You'll have to roll the dough at the end of this just to make sure that you don't have any lost. But each roll should make approximately 14 servings. You just heard the beep in the background. That means my oven is already preheated to 400. So when we put these in, they will be ready to go. Now, you can also do individual little pie tins. I ordered mine off of Amazon for a few bucks. I had a few hundred. So I've been going through these all year. We're using them for our individual portions. You can just as easily spray your cupcake holder with Pam and put the pie crust into that in individual portions. And then once it's cooled, pop it up. You have a hardened shell. It will work just the same. All right, you guys, we will get these into our shells. Once they're in, they will look like this. We'll fill our pie crust, get everything ready, put them in the oven for about 10 minutes, and they will be ready to go. Stay tuned for step 2. Who's ready for step 2? I know I am. It is time to make the custard. We have just a couple of steps. This is so easy, literally 5 minutes of your time, and you will have this delicious, delicious custard. First things first, you want to take a 1/4 cup of cornstarch and a 1/4 cup of water and mix it together. This is going to create a little bit of a paste. So just mix it ever so slightly here. Kind of like making concrete, but delicious concrete. Then in a saucepan over medium heat, you're going to take 1 cup of vanilla soy milk. So we'll just carefully walk through so I don't spill everywhere. Mix this with 2 tablespoons of sugar, a pinch of salt, a pinch of turmeric. You're going to whisk everything together. And then you want to add in 2 tablespoons of vanilla and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Once that starts to mix, we're going to come over here, finish with our paste. It's a little bit gooey, but you want that because once this all boils together, it's going to create a thick custard sauce. So just pour this little bit of a paste into your saucepan. Make sure you get all of it out. And then you are going to stir with your whisk periodically to bring it to a low boil. This will then thicken the sauce, and from there, you'll have this delicious, absolutely spectacular custard. Now, I know what you're thinking, Christine. Doesn't custard normally have tons of eggs and egg whites and milk and butter and all of these rich, fattening flavors? Yeah, they normally do. But we're doing a vegan recipe, and trust me when I say you won't miss any of those other ingredients. This is So yummy. I can't wait for you to try it. Okay, that's all for step 2. We will wait until all of this cooks, get everything out of the oven, and stay tuned for step 3. Okay, so maybe step 2.5. I wanted to show you how this thickens up. Come on in, don't be shy. My fabulous husband Josh is a cameraman. Let's just take a look at his mad skills here. See how this is getting really thick? This is just about perfect. We're gonna take it off of the heat here and just continue to stir and let that thicken on its own and cool, and then we can pour it into our puff pastry shells. Like I said, that's step 3. Okay, we're almost there. It is time for step 3. And this is my favorite part because we get to put it all together. Okay, so come take a peek. We have got our little puff pastry pie crusts out of the oven. They are fluffy and buttery and delicious. And look at them, they're like little pies.
What are they?
They're pie. No, you know what they are? They're pie. I know that sounds so silly, but have you seen the commercial? It could be like Geico or somebody, and I don't care who does it. But I laugh and laugh and laugh every time that commercial comes on. The guy's like, can you tell me how to get a piece of pie around here? And she's all, that's easy, sugar. Pie! And I just laugh and laugh. So every time I say pie, I find myself going, pie. Anyway.
It's hilarious, folks.
It's hilarious.
Cannot
Google
laugh
Geico
enough.
pie. You will laugh with me, I promise. So here's what we do. You just take your custard and you're just gonna fill in these little shells. Now everybody likes their custard a little bit different. This is gonna be a little bit thicker on the custard side with the 1/4 cup of cornstarch that I use. But if you want a little thinner custard, start with 2 tablespoons and it will be a little bit more liquidy. And you can just add more cornstarch as you go to thicken it to your desired preference. We will fill all of the shells, and then from there, we're gonna top it with fruit. In my fruit bowl right here, I have 1.5 cups of sliced strawberries, 1/2 cup of blueberries, I have 1/2 cup of raspberries, and also 1/2 cup of blackberries. And I'm just gonna get a little bit more in here, and I'll start with the fruit next, just so you can see the finished product. No need to watch me fill every one of these. All else fails, lick it off your hand, because it's custard and it's good. Okay, so take your fruit and you're just gonna come over here and place it on top. I'm gonna do a mix of the berries just so that it's a little bit more, patriotic. It is Memorial Day weekend after all, and we should be celebrating all of our military in the service in addition to the obvious start of summer. All good reasons to celebrate, and this year is going to be especially unique and maybe a little bit more somber for many people with the amount of lives that have been lost during this COVID-19, but find a silver lining, celebrate all of the goodness that you can find in the world, and like I said, eat pie or fruit tarts. They're mini pies. So once you have all of these pretties together, you can do whatever combination you want on the fruit. I just like to have a little bit of a mix so that you have the red, white, and blue showing. But you could put them into the refrigerator, let them chill for, I don't know, maybe a half hour, just enough to cool and solidify. And then, my friends, you will be able to travel with these bite-sized pieces of happiness.
What are they?
They're bite-sized pieces of happiness. And
what kind?
For the love of God, bite-sized pieces of happiness and pie. Anyway, these are perfect because they are in individual little tins. Share them with your neighbors. Take them to your local socially distanced barbecue, and you will have a win for the day. Here is one of the finished products. Enjoy this, and I promise you will just be the hit of the neighborhood. Okay, you guys, have a great Memorial Day, and I will see you next week for more desserts.